Mae Harris and Lauren Stone talking about research and planning. It was crucial to research the genre of thriller before we started planning our film. The way we did this was by using the search engine Google, which led us onto sites such as IMDb, to firstly look up the history of the thriller genre, and then to discover the components that make a good thriller film and take influence from films to use in our own plot. We then used YouTube to watch thriller opening title sequences and took inspiration from aspects we wanted to incorporate into our film. They included character types we noted worked well in a thriller film, such as the enigma of the antagonist. We did this by never showing the antagonist's face properly. YouTube proved to be a really useful way to find films and to watch due to the diverse number of film clips available.
Once we decided on a basic narrative of our film, we wrote up both a storyboard and a script, which would be used by all the people involved in the filming process. Next, we started researching a suitable location and then did a recce on our chosen location. Our chosen location was an abandoned warehouse. We wanted to use that because it looked run down and nearly empty, which fit in well with our storyline. We took both photos and film shots of the warehouse and did a practice shot of filming to check if it would be a fitting place to film.
Shannon Cassidy talking about filming. The camera we used was a Canon 600D. We used this camera as it has a high resolution lens and screen. On the day of the shoot, it turned out to be very successful, which meant we hadn't needed to reshoot anything. We realised we had to film in two locations. Our initial location was the abandoned warehouse, and then we had to shoot at one of our group members' house as we had a few clips involving a bed. Most of the shots we filmed are of the actors' walking motion, instead of their faces, as we wanted to keep the identity of the characters' faces unknown. So this meant filming at a waist height to capture the nervousness of the way the characters moved, and what objects they'd be walking past if they had to slide or walk past over it. We used a tripod at all times to keep the camera steady, as we didn't plan any handheld or tracking movements.
Jacob Whiting talking about editing. In Adobe Premiere, we created atmosphere in a number of ways. The pace of the editing is a key factor, and this also relies on the soundtrack. We chose a soundtrack that was quite fast-paced, as that is how we wanted the opening title sequence to be. Then we adjusted the already placed clips to make them fit with the music. Another important factor in creating atmosphere is grading of our footage. Our original idea was to do a day-for-night effect on the footage, as when we originally planned the opening title sequence, we wanted it to be at night. However, once we started grading, we decided against this and instead graded it quite dark, but didn't make it look like night. Titles were created in Premiere with fonts that we found online. We used a few different fonts for the titles, and on the first title that has the production company name, we added a fade-in effect. We found the fonts for our titles on Dafont, and we wanted simple fonts that were easy to read on the screen. Finding the soundtrack was quite difficult, as we went through lots of different ones and tried them out, but they didn't fit. Eventually, we found one that worked though.